This is the 2020 Nissan Patrol. Pretty much completely redesigned on the outside and exactly the same on the inside. Welcome to 2012 in 2020. Now, I've always loved the Nissan Patrol, and to be completely honest with you, I still do, but it's hard not to be disappointed that we don't get the new interior and the updated infotainment that the rest of the world does. Patrol is still a simple two-model range, TI and TIL, and with this update, Nissan has added AEB for both models, rather than just the more expensive variant. The Patrol also gets rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning and blind spot monitoring as standard across the range. The additions don't stop with safety tech either, with the TI Patrol also getting satellite navigation, electric front seats, a surround view monitor and leather trim for the seats and steering wheel. Step up to the TIL that we're not testing here and you get screens in the second row, memory function for the front two seats, a Bose sound system, sunroof, roof rails and heated and cooled front seats. The most obvious change to the Patrol is the styling, which we'll get to in a second, but first let's look at the price, because while it's still good value for money, it has crept up a little bit. Now, some of that can be explained by the added safety kit that's standard across the range, but it has to be said that the price has moved up a little. The entry grade TI is now $75,990, which is up $3,000 from the previous model, while the top of the range TIL is $91,990, which is an increase of $2,000. It's difficult to compare Patrol to 200 series because, of course, Toyota announced that they were discontinuing the petrol Land Cruiser 200 altogether. However, entry-level diesel 200 is around the $80,000 mark, and that's got absolutely nothing in it, and the top-spec diesel Sahara is $124,000. Comparing top spec to top spec then, that's a whopping $31,600 win to the Nissan Patrol, and I can tell you, that buys a hell of a lot of 98 RON fuel too. I like the styling, and so seemingly do most other people on the road. We've had plenty of positive comments during our week behind the wheel. Sharper, bolder headlights and a new grille define the front end, while out back there are updated tail lights and you also get new alloy wheels as well. I've always been a big fan of the Patrol, especially from the driver's seat, but here inside the cabin, it really does feel like it's 2012. It's a shame that we don't get the updated infotainment, because you get a bigger screen here and a secondary screen there, and you also get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, not to mention nicer seat trim and leather finishes. It's pretty hard not to be disappointed by that too, because they are added features that would make an already impressive SUV even better. What you do get though is quality leather trim, the obvious fit and finish that you always get with a Nissan, heaps of storage space, and what feels like a pretty premium cabin for what Nissan claims is an entry-level model. Now, the Patrol isn't called upper large for no reason. Have a look at the amount of space back here in the second row. That's my driving position there. I've got acres of headroom, plenty of knee room and shoulder room. You can fit 3 adults across the second row as well. You get air conditioning in all 3 rows, so in the second and third row you've got air conditioning vents mounted up in the roof. You've also got controls for the air conditioning, so temperature and fan controls down there, as well as 2 USB ports and a 12-volt port down there as well, plus you've got cup holders or bottle holders in the doors. As we mentioned in the second row, you also get air vents in the third row, and while the seats aren't as spacious as that second row, they are useful for children and they're also useful for adults on shorter trips. Fold that third row down and you get more than enough luggage space for the whole family. The Patrol's V8 engine has always been a cracker, and you know what, that's still the case. It's a 5.6 litre engine, naturally aspirated V8 that makes 298 kilowatts and 560 newton metres, and what is so good about it, both off-road and on, is just how effortless it is. It's always been the case, and it's so enjoyable to drive. Now, Nissan's retuned the dampers to make this a more comfortable drive on-road specifically, and I tell you what, the Patrol is nothing if it's not a magic carpet ride. It's unbelievably comfortable, even on really poor road surfaces. Importantly, for those of you who use your Patrol for work, tow capacity remains the same, 3,500 kilograms, and unlike some vehicles that are rated to tow that weight, this Patrol will do that easily. Something worthy of note is the fuel usage. It's not uncommon to see diesel V8s using between 11 and 13 litres per 100 kilometres, and yet this big petrol V8 engine uses between 14 and 15 litres per 100 kilometres around town in traffic, and that's genuinely impressive. Sure, the Patrol will drink pretty heavily if you're, let's say, enthusiastic with your right foot, which is pretty easy to do with a big V8 engine. However, mid-teens fuel usage is hard to argue with when you've got a vehicle that is this capable. So the engine's great, transmission works really well, it doesn't use too much fuel for what it's capable of, and it's particularly comfortable. So all told, this is a particularly user-friendly and easy to access, easy to interact with upper large SUV, because let's not forget, the Patrol is a big vehicle. This is a big hulking four-wheel drive with proper room for the family and one that's capable off-road. So for it to be so comfortable and luxurious on-road is no mean feat, and you will absolutely enjoy driving the Patrol every day. The 2020 Nissan Patrol certainly looks sharper, especially at the rear, than the old model, and I reckon it's still an incredibly good value for money four-wheel drive in the upper large category. It's smooth on-road, extremely capable off-road, and of course the pricing negates any argument against the 200 series Land Cruiser. Would I love it more with the updated infotainment system? Yes. Is it a deal breaker? Yeah, probably not, although some people might disagree with me. However, in the meantime, we'll keep campaigning for Nissan Australia to fall in line with the rest of the world. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and hit subscribe on YouTube.